Okay, should we get to our teams? Brawl Pro's team getting 2 trips to Evo. I said if you win a second trip to Evo, then the first one's canceled. You have to fly to Evo and then fly straight back. You're not allowed to enter the building. You have to stay in the airport. This group is so active, by the way. Every single day, they're like, who's trying to lobby up? Who's gaming? It's just a good feeling to see that they're all involved and enjoying their time. Are you ready? Our first team, first coach, whoop. Team Purple, Team Kawaii Phase Miles, which is Amaz, who, by the way, literally was purple and then blue and then Tekken King in like 5 seconds with Alyssa. So Amaz, Roy, Zentreya, and Logan. What does that say about Alyssa? Yeah, I don't know how Amaz got so good so fast. I think he's a legitimate threat. So this is Team Quiet Face Miles. I think this team is super, first of all, dangerous, but also it's got a nice vibe to it. Our second team, Team Kaiser, with, by the way, returning champion shifter, Sean, who was undefeated in his round, Cerno, and Connor Eat Pants, who is also a returning player. So this one is 3 returning players, new coach, new Cerno on the team. Sean did really well in the last one, and Shifter's team obviously won. I think that this one has a high quality chance of being beast. Next team, Team Tone. I am excited for this. Tony's team is really stacked. We stuck them with the Smashers. So we have Box, Joshman, Raditz, and Esam. Esam and Joshman, you guys know, are professional Smash players, right? Joshman's like top 20 in the world in Melee. Esam's bald. So this is a pretty solid looking team, I can't lie. Our next team is Team FDX. Congratulations, by the way, on your recent announcement for DSG FDX. That's so many letters. FD Signifier, Fairlight, Catlink, and SK. Really solid team. FD Signifier, I think he's like the wild card where he plays Tekken, in parentheses, adult. He plays Tekken like an old man. Like he's been playing Tekken for a long time. A lot of the other top seeds play Tekken, in parentheses, drug addict. Heat sniffing, glue eating, players. That's what it is. So can you train someone who is like old school solid to defeat the newfangled heat system? That's the question. Team MYK is Skara, Coefficient, James Chen, and Gumi. Very, very solid team. Especially in the middle here, you have 2 fighting game players, and then Skara and Gumi as the lineup. So Gumi is on the Yoshi, which I'm really excited about, and Skara holding it down. Listen, he was talking smack. I didn't know if Skara was going to end up being a tier 1 or tier 2 or what like rank he was going to be. How can I be tier 2 if Box has an 0-2 record against me? He said it himself. I think he can get his revenge here against Jack Jesus. And the middle of this team is 2 fighting game players who I think have a good chance to have a lot of improvement under the tutelage of old school fighting game player MYK. Yes, and that leaves our final team, which you can probably piece together. Team Brawl Pro is a very familiar looking squad. Lazy Matman, Slime, Coney, and Doki Bird. The band is back together. Super TF obviously did not come back. And I'm not joking that within 5 minutes of each other, Doki Bird filled out our form and replied, I want to play King. I want Brawl Pro. And Brawl Pro sent me a message saying, I think this Doki Bird gamer and I could go far. They both reached out and were like, yo, 3 kings, a bear, and Jack Jesus. Wait a minute. Furry team, we lock in. This is all the teams playing in the competition, for those of you wondering. Everybody either got a player they wanted, a coach they wanted, or teamed up with somebody who wanted to be teamed up with them. And then also not only that, but we spread it out so that the skill is relatively similar amongst all of the levels. So I think everything should be good. I cannot wait to put Slime's head through concrete. This is an interesting point that you mentioned this, Joshman. When we were putting teams together, we were like, should Joshman be a 2nd slot or a 3rd slot? And I said, he says he wants to fucking kill Slime. So whatever slot Slime is in, he's got to be the same spot. And then they were like, well, is he going to be fine in that slot? And I was like, he's a top 20 Melee player. He's going to beat everybody's ass. Don't worry. He'll be perfectly fine. You give Tony some time to work with him and we'll be good to go. I think the teams came out great though. Like obviously, Team Brawl Pro is going to be happy because they got their team again. Maybe Doki can carry Brawl Pro in Overwatch. Like you guys had an Overwatch player before, so I figured I'd just give you a better Overwatch player this time. Connor Eat Pants. Connor cannot make it. So a couple of things happened for Connor's schedule. The big thing is there was like a big fancy stream he was supposed to do in like 2 weeks or something. He was describing to me basically he has like a thing. The only time he can do it is during the slam now. So he's like, hey, I could still do it, but I'm going to be a little busy. Is there someone who could replace me? And I was like, yeah, man, I got you. So we have another king player to come take his place. This was the first alternate we had, Amor. She was the first one that we were like, okay, well, she didn't make the list, but if anybody says no, basically, we should go to her and ask her. Like the newest players, there was no other king player. But now, Doki Bird and her will both be playing king, which is really fun. I'm really excited about that. You know, the worst thing about Super not entering is if Team Brawl Pro wins, his chat is going to be Lamau, little bro couldn't hold down the team anymore. He will actually never hear the end of it. But then if they do worse, his chat could still be like, lil bro just let his team go and lose. You know what I mean? Like, it's no matter what, they're going to make fun of him. Brawl Bros team seems easy to lab for. They said the same thing last time about Coney. They're like, oh yeah, we just got to learn the 5 moves of Doom. It turns out you had to have the power of Emily Wang or you couldn't defeat him. This is an event where, I don't know, I think most people know the rules now, where if you don't do well, you kill all your teammates. It's not a team tournament where you can be carried very easily. Who's the highest ranked player? It's Lazy Matman for the players. But he's only 1 rank above where FD Signifier, Box, Amaz, and Shifter are. And then Skara was Bushin at his highest, I think, which is 1 rank below Tekken King. When is prizing announced? Top 2 teams get a trip to Evo again. We also have some cool prizes from some other places. We have controllers again. We have something for everybody this time. Yeah, there's like a bunch. There's some cool stuff. I think you guys will like the prizes for this one. This is going to be next week on the 15th, 17th, 19th. The other thing to remember is that everybody's playing. So if you check out the category, the Tekken category, they're all gaming. Like, you can find everybody in here.
Listen.
Oh, she do be mashing.
Round 1.
I didn't even see that face the first time. Is this how someone watches Tekken? You're all crowded behind the monitor at the event watching. You're like, oh shit, it's me versus JDCR off stream. You're like, this is what it looks like standing there in the background. Is that the Tekken face? This is your Tekken face. When your boy is down 5 straight rounds of the setup and someone asks what the score is.